Welcome, you have reached review time with Imperial. Today's review will be Power Book 4 Force, Season 1, Episode 4. Let's get into it. So, this was a decent episode for the build on the story for Tommy's spinoff, Force. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. So, in this episode, you had a lot of moving parts, but they all eventually tie in together. So, you have Vic Flynn going behind Walter Flynn's back to meet up with Tommy and Diamond to get the business going now. Tommy got the idea, looking at the map of Chicago, to take all over the Yardies' territory and develop a pipeline. So they make a visit to have a meeting with the Yardies. In the process of that, Elijah, that rolls with Gerard, pretty much he's listening to the scanners and got a word that the police is on their way to that area. So he tips Diamond off. Meanwhile, while they in the car, they see the cop that showed up to Diamond's barbershop that's on the payroll of the Flynns. He's seen that. So he, of course, Vic does mention it to him later in the episode. That should have been you to tip me off. Basically, like, what is your worth to me? So Vic and Tommy were together, and Vic pretty much told Tommy take him to the bar where Gloria was. When they got there, Tommy was hesitant to go in, and then Vic pretty much said, I know you're screwing her, and right now, we in an intermission. And so Tommy pretty much was like, yeah, well, why you still roll with me if you know I'm screwing her? And he's pretty much said, well, it's business over money. So Tommy's like, yeah, I get it. So it has a scene where Tommy does meet up with Glow at that lounge again, and he pretty much told her that he's going to be finding another bar to hang out at. And thank you for welcoming him to Chicago. So he told her his business first as well. So meanwhile, you got Vic still in love with Glow. So it's going to be interesting to see how their relationship's going to turn out. So you have Claude on her end. She's trying to build her empire. So Tommy had Lucia, Luciana, what's her name? Liliana. I said Lucia. Liliana follow and tell Claude. Now Claudia, she's going to different places, and she's wants to link up with the chemist who made that product called Dahlia. Now they pretty much is going to force the chemist to make the product for them. If not, they were going to go to the FDA and mess up her career. So they had to get her on board. So Claude does reach out to one of her contacts, and she's basically building up her clientele. So when Liliana gets home, the Serbs come pretty much rough her up, and pretty much they want their drugs. So when they was Gary burn her eyeball out, she pretty much telling, I'll get you your drugs. So she texted Tommy and said, bring the drugs and bring Ghost. So that was a trigger to Tommy, let him know, get on his stealth mode. And what you're seeing also that the writers wrote in for Tommy, he's using a lot of traits. He's not the same Tommy that was in New York. This is his chance to have his own entity, but he's taking some of the Ghost traits with him of being more strategic and not just doing things off the cuff. And he's moving like a chessboard and not like checkers. And he's thinking before he's executing plans. So he pretty much shoots out two of the Serbs that was having Liliana hostage, and Tatiana resurfaces in this episode, and she pretty much is a meeting with Tommy, and she pretty much told Tommy, well, I could have had you killed Vic Flynn jumped in the mix. He killed two of the servs that was with her, and Tommy killed her. So they basically took the money and the drugs off of her, and they pretty much looked at Liliana, and she said, "There's a storm coming." Pretty much Tommy said it's already here. Meanwhile, you had Gerard, who's speaking with Elijah, who's pretty much saying if Tommy wants to go off and get killed, that's on him. But he put in the work for 15 years. He's not just gonna let his big brother, run a game in the dirt. So D-Mac comes in the barbershop. Gerard pretty much tells him he need to round up some young soldiers and have them be ready to go. Now D-Mac links up with his goons and they're going to shoot up JP's lounge again. However, JP's there, he comes out. Now D-Mac knows that's his father, but JP don't know what his son looked like because he hasn't seen him since he was young. So when the goon was Gary pull a gun out on JP, he pulled out a bat. D-Mac shot in the sky that brought tension out to come outside. And so the goons ran off in a car. Meanwhile, D-Mac stayed there and looking at his father. But JP, of course, don't know what he looks like. And then he just ran off. But it never dawned on him, why is this kid looking at me like that? So that scenario. Was also a scene where Tommy was with JP and JP's father, and they talked about cake and everything like that. So that was a meaningless scene. So that was pretty much the bulk of the episode. To add more to the storyline, to see the build up, you also get the introductory of the Serbs. Main head ball is Merkovin and Merkovic, where you're gonna see he's gonna play a role in all this, and Walter Flynn is upset with Tommy for he's pulling Vic Flynn somewhere else. However, Vic Flynn is ready to be his own man and his own boss, and he want a life with Gloria, but he knows his family would never accept her. So it's gonna be something to end with that, where I don't think Gloria is gonna make it out of season one, and that's gonna turn Vic completely another way. So overall, decent episode. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Tune in next week.